नमस्कार दोस्तों, एड टॉक्स विद अमिताभ में एक बार फिर आपका स्वागत है। As we have promised, every alternate day we are going to have an eminent educational influencer with us. We are trying to cover the pan India and trying to get opinions and views from all across the country. We started with Mumbai with a promoter and a educational entrepreneur and entrepreneur. We went on to a principal. Then we went on to Anita Pauline Day, who was from Varanasi, who is having seen the world from both the side, being a promoter, a school owner, as well as the principal. Today we have a educational influencer who does not run a school, who is not a principal of a school, but then is a very important influencer and is connected to almost all the educational spheres that we can think about. Friends, I'm talking about none other than the Education Word, India's #1 education magazine, and the Parent Word. There are so many other claims to fame that he has, but without keeping any further gap between you and him, let me invite him from our virtual studio to the screen live with you all. Namaskar, Bhavin ji. Welcome to Ed Talks with Amitabh in the School Times.
Namaste, Amitabh ji. Thank you very much for having me on your show, and I feel delighted, like having to be seated on a hot seat with Amitabh Bachchan. So it's equal honor having a coffee with Karan and talk with Amitabh. So thank you very much for having me over here.
And somebody from Mumbai, this Amitabh is sitting far away from Mumbai, but then I can easily say, मैं अमिताभ और मेरे साथ इस समय हॉट सीट पे है मिस्टर भाविन शाह, CEO of the Education World. So Bhavin
thank you very much.
Just to brief you, as we were discussing behind the scenes in the studio, this show was planned, but then COVID lockdown has affected in between a bit for a few days our dream, but it could not lock down our spirits, and we went ahead with our dream using the technology and bringing educational influencers on the show like you and many more before you. Now, our objective in this show is to have a perspective, provide teachers, educational leaders, parents, students a perspective and a positive attitude, because we are calling this Staying Positive Lockdown Series. And besides that, because you people come with such a diverse experience and exposure, we would like to enrich people with your experience, the challenges that you have faced and how you have coped up with the same. And that's the whole objective of this show. So do I have your permission to start our interaction?
Absolutely. Let's go live. Let's go rock.
So to begin with itself, I was going through your profile in the detail when we were working on the promos. I realized that you have been an extremely fast-moving entrepreneur, a social entrepreneur with Education Word, Parent Word, and there's so many other things. You have so many international tie-ups. You're bringing the international exposure. You are literally making education more global and local being merged into one. So what are the other ventures, if you can enlighten our audience? What is your gamut of experience?
Let me start with telling all our viewers and everyone in the education fraternity that Education World, with our co-founders Dilip Thakur and Sumya Yasmin, we believed and we started with a mission statement, and the mission statement goes like this: to build the pressure of public opinion to make education as the #1 item on national agenda. And I would not say that hope this is going to happen. I'll say everyone has to make it happen, and we are making it happen. So with that mission statement in 1999, when Education World was started, with the growth of as predominantly as a media company, we have turned into an education institution in which predominantly Education World became the prime reckoner for an educator, but then also, but with the overall mix of content that we have,
Right.
educators, parents, and students are our prime target audience. And with Parents World, we have expanded the entire reach to each and every household. And this is how Education World, which has magazine, that is the print version. We have the most ambitious and India's number one portal. That's where now all digitization is happening. That's
Right.
educationworld.in. We have our films division. We have our events and seminars division.
Okay.
We embarked on a journey a couple of years back in the training side with establishment of our division called TIDA, that is the Educators Development Academy, where
Okay.
we had international collaborations with biggest India world's top-notch brands like Busy Bees, and which they are the leading preschool brand throughout the world. And along with that, we have our books division, and we have various initiatives. I hope everyone would credit that Education World was the first a company which started the India school ranking mechanism, which has become now, which has become by default a reference or a referral for educators and parents throughout the world.
Absolutely.
And that's how
Absolutely.
we started our all ranking mechanism. And at the same time, we have established new alliances by way of in the higher education space. We have started ahead, that is Alliance of Higher Education and Development. And then we have the ranking mechanism has gone now out of India. Currently, it's in SAR country, which comes under our banner of Education Unites World. So that's very small thing that we do
That's
in few of.
so very versatile. And आपको सुनते सुनते I was just thinking, education के ऐसा कौन सा segment है जो आपने touch नहीं किया है? You've really gone into almost every aspect and of education, be it training, be it publication, be it education. There's nothing that you have left per se. And
Only
you
channel is
know,
left.
I'm so happy that I started off before you did. So, but then coming back lighter vein aside, is you know this vision statement that you talked about, creating pressure through public opinion. I think I'm not going to leave you today. I'm going to take up some very you know. Burning issues that people are talking with a muffled voice in close quarter, which needs to now be taken up for a larger discussion for public opinion. I'll come to that in a. So I'm not going to, now that you have said it is about your vision statement, is the mission statement is about public opinion and creating about pressure there. So we'll come to some of those issues as well. And the last you said, can you just repeat the last word you said about education connecting
Unites world.
unites the world? And
That's
Prince, I think this exactly is going to be my build-up theme for discussion with Bhavinji. Education unites the world. Right now, as I see, COVID, the lockdown is also uniting the world. इस समय दुनिया में कोई एक दूसरे से वॉर नहीं कर रहा. The wars are all, there is a greater peace, and I think विश्व बंधुत्व अगर आज से पहले कभी अगर कभी देखने को मिला है तो during these lockdown times, other than China, the whole world seems to be getting together, and of course China also was in the tight soup to begin with in the whole thing. Now, during this time, an eminent person who has been so very busy, this is my first question to everyone. Because all of us are facing this challenge कि lockdown बढ़ता जा रहा है, कब तक चलेगा नहीं पता, कितने दिन चलेगा, mindset is having a lot of anticipation. So I'm sure आपके घर में it may not be very different. You have your own family and the people in your household. You have been a very busy professional. So how are you dealing with this particular psyche? I think that's a perspective that I'm taking from almost every guest that I have on this show.
Amitabh, I'll tell you, all of us are humans, and we all go through the same feelings, the trauma, the anxiety, the kind of question marks that we have in our mind. That's all the same. But
Ji.
probably being at the chair that I am, at the chair that you are, we cannot really sit tight and just think and just get depressed. So
Right.
this is where each and every national in India has to stand up, has to create an environment where all of us are together and deal with the situation. So
Right.
typically at my home also, what we have done is, there is, like, unlike in education, the way you have a timetable, we have
Right.
started a timetable at home, correct? So each and every one has got their stipulated duties to be performing,
Right.
including me, who have got a lot of outdoor duty, because my wife directly told me, it means, I hardly see you, like, in a stretch of 15 days together, because I have a heavy travel schedule. So
Right.
all you are going to do is, you are going to be my veggie buyer. So my major duty is to go in the market and
Right.
somehow get so all of us, like, as my wife paints, so she has got her painting schedule to keep her in the free time. She does
Right.
it. My son, who's a sports person, very difficult to handle him, because he's been all in all on the field. But yes,
Okay.
he has also inculcated many things which he was as such not able to do in his field time. So he has
Right.
taken a very serious route on academic, which I'm very happy. So
That's
he has
fantastic.
a sports person has started thinking on academics. So we have all distributing our work, and we are keeping ourselves busy. And moreover, I'm connecting with hundreds and thousands of educators, like you are doing a good service where this medium is spreading across the world. We are keeping abreast with the best of the work that education institutes are doing. In fact, let me tell you, apart from our frontline warriors like the doctors, police, and the support staff, let me tell you, I want to salute to all the teachers across India who have taken up the task and who are engaging millions of kids, and they are on their toes to perform 24 by 7, I can say, because there are so many things that teachers, educators, edupreneurs have plunged themselves, and they're doing. So I am contributing largely to connect them and spread their word across to others, so that they get motivated and they really get inspired.
You're very true, and almost every guest that I had, everyone has said that to begin with, it was the medical and the paramedical fraternity and the police and the para forces, paramilitary forces were the COVID warriors. But now, as the times are passing, the way teachers have taken the baton in their hand to ensure continuity of education in an unknown territory, that is online education, they have become the next COVID warriors. Everyone is talking about this. But then, Bhavinji, allow me to straight away come to an issue which a lot of muffled voices are talking about. We are talking about, there's a lot of uncertainty looming large across the nation, that how many more days, कितने दिन और लगेंगे, स्कूल कितने दिन में खुलेगा, जो एग्जाम्स बोर्ड के नहीं हुए उसका क्या होगा, स्कूल के एग्जाम्स जो बीच में रोक दिए गए उसका क्या होगा, जीरो ईयर होगा या education कब से शुरू होगी. We all understand with our own logical understanding that schools will be one of the last places to open, or even if we open it, I'm sure that parents will take time before they start sending their children to the school, until unless everyone will be very sure things will be very, very different to go back to the pre-lockdown days normalcy. Now, in this perspective, there is there are a lot of call that is going on. Just to share certain perspective, we are seeing, we are getting the copies of the circulars by the district magistrates and the commissioner and the government sources. I don't know what is the authenticity of it. Some are authentic, some we don't know how it is coming. But generally, the tone and the language of whatever I have come across, which has crossed my eyes, everywhere, every government machinery is saying that don't pressurize people to pay the salary at the to people, to the fee of the child during this lockdown. Parents are also under a pressured times. At the same time, there is a another government says that once the lockdown is over, after that you decided how it can be taken. Like it is done from the banking sector. Moratorium is given for EMI and all. So the tone is that something of a similar kind may come up in the education sector as well. But at the same time, the moment I see it on the television and all, the tone is very changed kind of a tone. It pains me to see that the sensationalization still not going away from the media channels, where they say सरकार ने फीस की माफी कर दी कोविड टाइम के लिए, लॉकडाउन के लिए फीस माफ and all that, which I don't think any such decision has actually taken place, and which is giving a lot of ideas to parents and various fraternity of parents and associations. The demand for fees waiver is coming up in a big way. And I was going through somewhere, you have also gone on to put it on a public platform, that your thoughts and opinion about the same in discussion with some of the associations and the bodies of teacher and the principals. So I would like your perspective on this burning issue.
Sure. I'm so. Let me tell you, and let me give you the right viewpoint and a perspective which is associated with it, right? So there is no mixing of words, or there is nothing where there is still a doubt. In fact, let me tell you, Amitabh, education world has started a campaign called as Private Schools SOS. I'll term it as Save Our Schools. Okay.
Okay,
And
fantastic.
predominantly, my view is largely towards the private unaided schools, and also to the budget, which budget private schools, which are the schools which are serving to the really the poorest community. Okay. And let me tell you, what has happened is various state government has issued circulars directing private schools and the management not to collect tuition fees until further notice. So it could be anything. It could be right from 3 months to 6 months, because as you know, state is education is a state concurrent subject. We really don't know which state is going to open up post May 3rd, and what are going to be the rules and regulations, state or city wise, right? So my first of all, my view would be that each and every one of us has to think local and act local. Okay. And if you really see these circulars, actually these circulars have jeopardized the entire financial stability of countries. 375,000 private independent, 375,000 private independent unaided K-12 schools. And I'll tell you, there are estimatedly 400,000, 4 lakh low fees budget private schools, which are called as BPS budget private schools, which employ and put together this whole circulars in various states that have been issued by the state government and various governments. They have endangered the employment of 7 million teachers. Okay.
Absolutely.
And parents withholding the fee, like March, April, and in further time, this is almost going to put all these schools, particularly all this private and this whole school group, into a standstill mode. And let me tell to all your viewers that private unaided schools and these budget private schools comprise of 50% of the school going community. Okay. So it's not that it's a small number. Now let's bring up a few perspectives that why there is this, why you have to do this.
Something happened on the app and the software that we were using. We got disconnected, but still going at my end. And Bhavinji, I'm extremely sorry for the technical glitch that we got
No, you
a few
can
minutes back.
you can always put it up saying, your show was so prominent that it is break ke baad. We had so many TV commercials.
सो ब्रेक के बाद एंड ब्रेक से पहले हम लोग काफी पर्टिनेंट इशू पे बात कर रहे थे. आपने उस समय पर यू हैव talked about the statistics, the number of schools, number of unaided schools, more than 4 lakh unaided schools, and almost 50% of the schooling is covered by these unaided schools. And that's where we were when we got disconnected and disjointed. So, can I just request you to just quickly brief up from that point so that we connect back from that point onwards?
Sure, I'll just repeat where we left, and predominantly a lot of questions or this curiosity which has been rising. It's about this unrest which has created amongst edupreneurs and private school owners, was about the circular which actually spoke about having a fee waiver,
Right.
a blanket ruling about fee waiver. So, Amitabh ji, we have in education world, we have started a campaign called as Private School SOS, which I'm terming it as Save Our Schools.
Right.
And let me just reconnect with certain data which I was posting to you
Right.
earlier. What has
Right.
happened is this government has issued circular directing private school managements not to collect tuition fees until further notice. Okay, so this could be any months that are coming. This circulars actually have jeopardized the entire financial stability of countries 375,000 private independent unaided K-12 schools.
Okay.
And especially this is going to really disturb the 400,000 4 lakh low fees budget private schools, which is termed as the which is termed to be serving the lower bottom pyramid, where they're giving quality English medium and quality private education. Now, this
Right.
has endangered the employment of approximately 7 million teachers, because clearly, if school is not going to get fees, how
Right.
school is going to survive? See, a pertinent issue to be noted is school is just locked down by way of infrastructure,
Right.
not by way of its prime duty to deliver education. And that's where
Right.
school is working day in day out to deliver and touch upon at the last mile, where whether it could be rural area or whether it could be urban area, but there are online classes which everyone has started inculcating. So this is,
Right.
according to me, the ruling which government has brought. It's one-sided. It's not balanced. It's really going to jeopardize the entire private schooling fraternity, which is actually delivering 50% of the school-going community. So
Absolutely,
it's a
and that's
very
a big volume, big chunk, and the statistics that you're giving, that itself reflects the how alarming the situation is. And you have so beautifully coined the term "save our schools." In fact, not only these schools, but even a lot of schools that we are associated with. Even I was talking to some of the parents lately, and they have their own perspective. But then people have this feeling that all these schools, which are so-called rich schools with big infrastructures, but I think people need to understand the promoters have provided the infrastructure for a quality education, but and it is a run under a society. They have catered to it, but their continuous running and growth and development is based on the fee collection that takes place. So there's a huge challenge there. So how do you see it taking shape in times to come?
See, I'll tell you, anyways, we have seen that education as a portfolio from independence,
Right.
none of the government has given the priority, and that's how we embarked on this mission, and we wanted to make this as a number one priority. Amitabh ji, let me throw certain figures over here also.
Please,
What has
please.
happened is, in any of the disaster or any of the crisis which any nation would have gone through, maybe post world wars or any of the pandemics and epidemics that were there in the country, if you have seen the smallest of the country, maybe Japan, maybe Germany, whenever they have come back, they have not only progressed, but the key aspect of that progress is that the largest chunk of their GDP they have invested in education. So
Right.
if you just go back and rewind the history, they were devastated across, correct? But whenever you have whatever means in whichever way the government has taken proactive step, they have always given education as a priority, and that's the reason you'll see these all countries are now the leading countries. Now post independence,
Right.
India has been always, or any all governments have been given like a stepmother treatment to education. If you really
Right.
see the expenditure or the expenditure on education, when you really see from the independence time, it is mere
Right.
always revolving around 3.5%, okay, of the
Right.
GDP. Whereas
Right.
if you really now want to come back, and when all the budgeting is happening, the nation is really building all rebudgeting happening. In fact, let me put it in
Right.
that way,
Right.
that all these sectors are being pumped with various kind of stimulus. There is not that none of them. In fact, I'm very sorry to say, all of the parents, all of the education fraternities should come together, and they should
Right.
really appeal to the government to give a stimulus to education also. Okay, and this stimulus shouldn't be like one sided. That means, it's only given to the owners, but to all the stakeholders. Let me tell you some of the simple steps which government should be thinking around. I mean,
Right.
always a hue and cry among saying, okay, we have a lot of trouble by way of parents who cannot get jobs, or they have question mark on their existing employment to an entrepreneur, which it will take time for them to come back in their business. Let me tell you, there are very very innovative things that also could be thought by.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
We have really posted many times to the government when the RTE was implemented. But we all
Right.
know that all these years, RTE has always created more and more confusion, right? In the spirit, it's very good, but in
Right.
implementation, it has really not at all created that environment, a cohesive environment which we wanted. And from that time, we have been saying to introduce the voucher system, or the coupon system, where the needy gets the money in their hand, and they can
Right.
go to the school and they can pay up their fees. Probably this is the same thing where I'm completely with all the families who have got a lot of tension in their mind about their employment, and they literally are struggling for their livelihoods. Okay, so
Right.
this is where, rather than empowering directly the schools, I would not be like biased only on one side to give support to schools, but let us
Right.
empower the needy families where they need money. Government can
Right.
reach out to them, give them coupons, they can encash it, and they can pay their fees. Okay, so
Right.
this is something which could be seriously looked at. We all should be coming together and give various suggestions which government can be implementing.
I think we need to create some kind of a thought bank from all the people like you and the other people in the fraternity to give that suggestion to the government that what alternatives can be taken up, because everyone is looking into their own perspective. And right now, a few days back, I got a letter that some parent forum has written, and that was the seventh day of the lockdown. And
Mhm.
on the seventh day of the lockdown, the parent or few parents have mobilized many other parents, their email IDs being put together, and letter has been written to school management that we are going through very tough times, and we our fees should be waived off during this time because business is totally on a standstill. And my take at that point of time was that अभी 7 दिन भी नहीं हुए हैं, अभी तो घर में जो पहले राशन ला के रखा होगा वो भी खत्म नहीं हुआ था, or the
Hmm.
letter to the management is already prepared and sent कि हम तो बहुत मुसीबत में आ गए. I think it is a lot of anticipatory initiatives, and I am sure government schools and everyone will look into the concerns which are there, but it should not become a platform and agenda of opportunist trying to say कि इस समय मौका है तो थोड़ा सा हम लोग फीस की माफी भी कर लें, because I don't think that just a school fee of a child will be such a big issue that everything else people are quiet, but the schools are getting letters कि fees की माफी हो जाए. I think somewhere parents also needs to be very sensitive.
See, let me throw a light on this point, and probably this is also going to give a parent a perspective which they should be thinking around. See, what's the charm in jeopardizing a school's function?
Right,
Who is at the loss at the end? Parents. They have to understand that the kids are at loss.
right,
Correct? It's not about saying if you have not paid the fee, school is going to be like happy, or school is going to be really praising you, saying, wow, I'm going to deliver. It's an ecosystem. Correct?
right.
It's a ecosystem where if the smooth functioning of school is happening, it's going to benefit the kids only. let me also tell
Absolutely.
you let me also tell you, each and every parent who's there in private school or government school, they are having this mobile phone. Correct? has
Right, right,
has government given a kind of a directive saying your Airtel, Vodafone, Geo bill is going to be waived off? No parent has gone and told to a government saying, please tell the private enterprises the electricity bill should be waived off. Correct? Because
right,
if you really see, parent is using, or a parent is giving their mobile phone or computer to the kid to get some learning. They are using electricity, they are using internet bandwidth, where you are not asking any kind of wave off. Correct? So
absolutely,
what
absolutely.
what's going to benefit you? Yes, I'm completely of the opinion. I'll tell you, a lot of forums like Fiki Arise, like
Right,
NISA, that is National Independent School Association, the
right,
Unaided Private School Association of Rajasthan. They have given beautiful suggestions, right? And the suggestions are all sided. It's not one sided,
right,
where they are also ready to accept that a school is ready to accept monthly fee rather than quarterly or annual
right,
fee. They are giving all leeways saying, if tomorrow parent has got real trouble, they can talk to school.
right,
Right? They can present their case.
right,
I would appeal to all people, including parents community, to join
right,
us. We'll go together to government and tell them that, please let us handle our situation amongst two parties. Okay?
right,
So that means I will go to the school, I'll present my case, and 100% all schools are, see, for them, their life is with parents and students.
right,
No one is going to be really having like animosity, saying, oh, you couldn't pay me the fee, so I'm going to. Not at all. None of the schools are going to be taking that stand. Let's solve our problem between two, and government can deploy their energy in fighting with COVID, fighting with the medical crisis. Education, they can leave it with the education parties, and I'm telling you, they will do much better job, will be coming far faster, better in track than any interference.
absolutely. And what you quite beautifully said that right now, whatever facilities that we are using during this COVID times, and maybe using always, like even for education at the moment, it is internet which is being used, it is the data which is being used, it is the your mobile network which is being used, electricity which is being used. ये जो ऑनलाइन क्लासेस चल रही इनमें, इसके लिए हम पैसा देने को तैयार हैं, बल्कि इस समय भी हम पैसे दे रहे हैं. You know,
Yeah,
I made sure that my bills go much in advance so that I do not lose this connectivity because of being confined at the household. But we are not deterring from those payment. But then when it comes to school fee payment, it is becoming a kind of an issue for people. And we all have to understand that society cannot do without schools. And
absolutely.
if and also here I would like a perspective to share, another way to look at it. Probably parents are looking at it, it's a monthly fee, and they need to understand they don't pay monthly fee, they pay the annual fee, saal bhar ki padhai ki fee, which is divided into equal monthly installments. ये जो मंथली और क्वार्टरली पेमेंट जो करते
Correct.
हैं, वो एक महीने की फी वो नहीं पे करते हैं, वो साल भर की उस एकेडमिक सेशन की फी पे करते हैं, जो उनकी कन्वीनियंस के लिए 3 महीने पे या हर महीने पे ईएमआई के फॉर्म में पे करते हैं, जो हम मंथली फी या क्वार्टरली फी बोलते हैं. सो लाइक इन अदर पेमेंट्स, here also the payment time schedule can be changed. It can be to the convenience of the parent, and that's how everyone should be looking at it. And I really would like to congratulate you for taking this initiative. And I think that you are right now sitting in Mumbai and talking about this perspective. I'm right now in Kolkata and talking about this perspective. I think the East and West is aligned on the thought. And I think in whatever way we school times can join you as well in this initiative to get the right perspectives in place, we will surely be doing that. Bhavin ji, thank you so much for sharing this thought about the this particular issue, because हम लोग इसके बारे में जो चर्चाएं कर रहे हैं फोन पे, व्हाट्सएप पे, जो कंसर्न ग्रुप्स हैं, लेकिन कभी खुल के इतना कोई भी नहीं इसके बारे में बात कर पाया. Probably you and I, being independent bodies, can share an independent point of view which may give a thought process to parents and everyone.
But let me also just add on before you want to go on to the next topic. But see, there is nothing to shy with the situation. Okay, maybe an entrepreneur or to be, see, at the end, when we say that we are all together, what education is doing, it's developing the country, correct?
Absolutely.
Whatever you, me, anyone who's doing, while if you want your present to be past, that means the current situation,
Right.
if you want it to be immediate past, then we have to concentrate on our future. And how to concentrate on our future? It's through education. You
Absolutely.
just see this situation. I was hearing some messages that many airlines have really slashed people, the jobs, to the tune of
Right.
lakhs and lakhs people are jobless, correct? There will be
Right.
big job crisis in coming time. Okay.
Right.
Now,
Right.
what do you expect? Now, if you are not going to concentrate on your education quality, this particular force which is going to develop the nation, when they are going to be out in the market, they are also going to be equally helpless.
Right.
Government or the bodies have not thought about saying how you are going to really prepare the next world. If really India wants to become a global economy power, then this is the time to encash, or this is the time to act, where we really build our education policy to the top level, and all the forces should join together to see to that none of the schools get out of business, or none of the student get out of learning, and none of the teacher get out of job. So this is something together we have to see, and this has to be discussed openly. There is nothing to shy away. See,
I totally agree with you.
see, again, I'll repeat saying, post independence, one of the biggest community which is shying away are the teachers and parents and parents. If you really want to become a developed economy, then teachers should be raising voice and parents should be raising voice to get the best of the quality. They should point out figures. They should point out their fingers to government. All our taxpayers' money is going, but we never have a raised voice. Our next door government school, which no one likes to go there. Why? Because if you see all other developed countries, the public education system is the best. People just send it to their neighborhood schools. So
Right.
if you really want to contribute to the nation, then all should come together and raise the voice, and we should ensure that everyone gets a hearing.
Education is the backbone of a nation, and we need to make sure that no school is out of business, no teacher out of job, and no child out of learning. Beautifully said, and I think that is what we need to focus on and come together to get the right perspective at the right forums. So, Bhavinji, I think it's your point of view is very clear, and I think we have made a very candid statement about it as well. Now, coming to this whole rigmarole, lockdown is going to get over. We don't know how much time, but then there's definitely going to be a paradigm shift. By design or by
True.
default, our prime minister, when he started his governance and took over the helm of affairs, one of the dreams that he has, having a digital India. And
Yeah.
this lockdown has not come in the right context or the right way, but probably the grounds were already getting prepared, and that is why right now we are actually seeing a digital India, and which I think is going to bring about a lot of paradigm shift in the way education sector will be, not just the education sector, the whole service sector, the work platforms. There's going to be a total dimensional change is going to be there. So, how do you foresee things happening in that direction?
Very good point, Amitabh. I'll tell you the new normal probably everyone is going to have a paradigm shift for it. Let me tell you, education particularly had witnessed this ed tech version a decade or more than a decade, actually, right? We have seen influx of technology coming in the classroom, but the only thing which was not really stabilizing was mapping with the learning outcome. Okay.
Right.
As a new norm, people started embedding smart boards. People wanted to just be in tune with what's happening. There were a lot of softwares that were getting embedded. But because we had the nature of face to face, that means there was a dependency of a physical teacher in the classroom.
Right.
Teacher used to really take care of all the aspects, even if there was some kind of a lacuna in the online learning or the resources that they were using. Okay. And many a times
Right.
we have seen teacher used to double up and ensure that the learning is continuous in the classroom. Okay. what i see
Right.
what I see a big shift is this online classes, which actually started during the COVID-19 time as something to
Right.
engage, something to engage. This is
Right.
the time. This is the time that each and every teacher should be using it as an experience to make it as a continuous process,
Right.
and this
Right.
continuous process will be the new norm. Because let me tell you, this COVID-19 is now, you'll have COVID-20, you'll have COVID-50. This virus is going to be staying. It's not something that unless and yes, we are trying for the vaccine, but there is something or the other which is going to come up. I'll reflect upon maybe a decade and a half back. We never thought of saying a mosquito is going to be a life-threatening disease to us, right?
Right.
But now we all
Right.
know how to keep things hygiene, and we have to be we have to be aware of mosquitoes, right? So similarly,
Absolutely.
uh,
Absolutely.
similarly,
Yeah.
similarly, there are some or the other epidemics and pandemics which are going to be there. So every parent, every student, and every educator have to be prepared
Right.
now that the new normal would be to embed this online learning in your routine. This is going to be very important. Let me throw you one important light. In fact there is this suggestion very strongly given by the body of FICCI Arise, that there is to be they want HRD to set up an online pedagogy team. This is very important. What's going to happen is now everyone is going to be strongly using online medium. But Amitabh, let me tell you, our teachers actually do not go through the qualification of digital pedagogy or online pedagogy. they are not
Absolutely.
they're not qualified. They are not qualified for it. You are trained, but there is no science or research that one would have gone through. So this is very
Right.
important, that unlike every school leader is going to plan trainings, online pedagogy or digital pedagogy is something that government and private body and association has to collaborate with research institute because
Right.
a digital content to be shown to a 3-year-old, 10-year-old, and a 16-year-old has different implication.
Right.
Means currently everyone has got on to gadgets, right? But various forums will say, or a parent would say, oh, my kid is showing so much of tantrum, so 3-3 घंटा वो मोबाइल पे रहता है, मुझे बड़ी खुशी होती है, okay,
Right.
कि वो 3 घंटा engage हो गया, whether he's playing video games or he's doing ABCD. But to every age group there are different implications.
Right.
I mean, we've been in some of our webinars when the professionals and experts were talking. This small screen and young age, which is looking like this, there are high chances that you develop a squint in the early years, right? So
Right.
you cannot read. So there are serious implications which a parent or an educator, because of lack of awareness or because of a little bit of not a proper education that they would have got on the digital pedagogy side, they may do harm. So I would urge that while the new norm is going to be online teaching, I would urge everyone of the teaching fraternity to get adequate knowledge from the person who's qualified. See, what happens is, unlike in this COVID time, you, me gets
Right.
thousands of WhatsApp, thousands of resources, but we really don't know
Right.
whether this is authentic or not.
Very
So
true. Very true.
that's the reason I would urge that they should, like in early childhood, there is a forum of early childhood association,
Right.
like there are various bodies and authorities which are doctors and pediatricians which are there. One should consult, get their consensus, and make it as a new norm or a new normal, where this online number one is going to be online education will be our a new normal, and this is going to be continuing.
And I'm sure there cannot be an alternative to a classroom experience, but then there is going to be an integration of online with the classroom experience, which is going to be a major paradigm shift. In fact, I think e-commerce and e-education will be more acceptable in Indian context. That Indian skepticism about anything which we have not seen or experienced by our own eyes is going to be different now. People are going to be more accepting about this whole perspective because of the experience that we are going through these few months of lockdown. So,
True.
yeah, Bhavini, I also see that besides the education word, there's another very interesting area you are catering to is your education word magazine is reaching out to educators primarily. Your parent word magazine
Parents
reaches
world.
out to the parents. So
Yes.
you come as to me you come across as a segment. There's every segment you have touched upon, and I would like. I'm sure there must be a lot of queries, your editorials which are coming up right now. What do you think is the parent scenario at the moment in these lockdown days?
See, I'll tell you, as in a family, in particular in Indian environment, each and every family is going through a tremendous time. Maybe question mark on the incomes. The most important part is the psychological balance, correct?
Right,
Because everyone is going through stress, right? And probably so
right,
that's what I was just trying to term it as an employment, the psychological stress. If you have seen recently the child abuse or the home abuse, where
right,
the helpline that government has started, that got a
right,
surge of more than 50%. So obviously
right,
there is lot of there is lot of disturbance which is already happening. So I want to obviously much before that, when parents world we thought of, see, I mean, as you know, India being the youngest nation, we see the population which is there, and to cater to the 60 million middle class household,
right,
every parent wants to give best to their child. And with the in the metro environment where a lot of nuclear families are there, parenting has become a very important subject,
right,
and it becomes more important in this time where if suppose you are not with your grandparents, how really you are going to cater to the young ones, to the middle years, or to the adults? Because the most difficult part is to handle young ones. They are going to throw tantrums, they are going to be bored, they're going to go through multiple psychological disbalance. This is where I
Right.
through our medium of parents world, I want to tell every of the parents that yes, it's a difficult time. I'm not trying to tell saying parents can really multitask and do everything, but
Right.
just stay calm through this situation. I'm 100% sure that we as an Indian and as our psychology, we are resilient in that way where we always bounce back. We have that spirit with us that no sooner the clouds are going to weed out, we are going to be coming back. As an economy, prime minister till all other government authorities are here to improve the situation. We are all together to improve the situation, and this is where maybe child's education, spending time with child, one has to introspect that yes, there are going to be some hiccups where you cannot really engage child for 12, 16, 18 hours, but this is
Right.
where as a neighborhood, as a family, you have to come together, you have to give quality time, play with the kids, be with kids. In fact, with the young kids, it's very easy that you get involved. With middle years and high school, this is a very good chance that you have to give them leadership role. give lot
Absolutely.
of give a lot of home chores which they can lead. They can lead a lot of community service. They can also do a lot of projects sitting down here which they can be helping themselves for application making, and also they can improve their better chance for learning a lot of vocation through online medium and doing experiential learning at home. So this is according to me. See, I'm an opportunist, so I always see in crisis
Right.
how to develop opportunity. And apart from educator, I'll tell you, parents have got the opportunity that they can get involved with their family, get involved with their neighborhood, and can really do many things innovatively, which in normal circumstances you may not get time.
Absolutely, and it's very heartening to hear the statement that you said, "I am an opportunist." That's one statement people who know me would identify me with as well. This whole show is also has emerged. I've not lost on the opportunity. The show was in pipeline. It was about to go in for a shoot in a studio setting, but then I think online is giving me opportunity to reach out to friends like you at faraway distance as well. So
Yeah.
it's given me a better opportunity for the show. And even just to put it in a lighter vein, when anyone asks me that I'm a vegetarian, I always say I'm an opportunist.
Brilliant.
So, so lighter vein aside, Bhavinji, you quite beautifully said that this is the time, this too shall pass, and parents have to maintain that basic calmness. And India has always shown that grit. In fact, if we look at it, today the name is Corona. Few years back, कुछ सालों पहले शायद इसका नाम हैजा था, उससे पहले शायद कॉलरा था, जिससे गांव के गांव निपट जाया करते थे. लेकिन विद एवरी जब भी हम उसके बाहर आए, इंडिया हैज ओनली बिकम अ मोर डेवलप्ड एंड अ मोर advanced nation than it was before, and that is the hope and the optimism that we need to keep. And you quite rightly said there's a lot of opportunity for uh, providing that leadership. At home, kids can lead a lot of things, and parents here, I would also like to make an appeal. Be gender neutral about it, gender sensitive about it, because ऐसी कोई भी रूल नहीं है कि लड़के किचन में नहीं जाने चाहिए और लड़कियों को बाहर का काम नहीं करना चाहिए. I think this is just the right time to, you have all the opportunity to guide them with the skills of survival. In fact, just the right time to give them the basic skills, because that is what comes. कोई आपके बड़े बंगले और आपकी जितनी भी प्रॉपर्टी आपने एक्वायर करी है और ज्वेलरीज जो आपने होल्ड करी हैं, इस समय कुछ काम नहीं आएगा. काम आएगा कि उसको चाकू से गाजर काटना आता है कि नहीं और आटा गूंदना आता है कि नहीं. आई थिंक ऑल दीज बेसिक स्किल्स विल बी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टू टीच. जी, भाविन जी.
Let me tell you, my son, who's a sports person, now he has started cutting vegetables, making food for us, and everything that he does, he earns to the tune of from 100 rupee to 500 rupee every day. So that's the competition that we have started, and he's getting more and more involved. And I would encourage everyone to make some utilization of some kind of a scheme which will motivate them, and they'll be really like thinking a lot of new innovative ideas to get engaged.
I think that's a brilliant suggestion. Parents can play on that. I could see there were a lot of questions which were coming in when we got disconnected before that, which I do not have with me right now. There are a lot of people again joined us back, and we have Manoj Kumar Panda saying, yes, definitely we are going to bounce back. We have Sudeshna Mitra, very interesting to know how the ecosystem works. We have Rashmi Kulshresht saying that really sad to see people actively posting their views on social media sites regarding fee issue and online classes conducted by the school teachers. Most students had either received results of the previous it's a pretty long narration she has written that most students have either received results of the previous session, many haven't yet, but promoted to the next class and are not familiar enough with their syllabus, subjects, topics, etc. I feel when schools reopen after lockdown, it will be too late to start a session with some children who might lose interest in studies. Through online teaching, a child is gaining some knowledge, is occupied for a few hours. Is it? It is who parents are not interested in keeping a watch when the child is online. Before if you have any point to share, Bhavinji, I would like to mention it for Rashmiji. Rashmiji, I totally endorse what you are saying. Online classes have to be looked at with respect, and schooling is going at a normal pace. It cannot be the same normal as it was in the classroom, but at least academic syllabi is in progress. And as we were talking about this, Rashmi Kulshresht, I was responding that there are researchers which are being taken at an informal level at taking opinions of people. People think there is a greater receptivity and there is a more positive screen time utilization by the children.
True.
Now, Bhavinji, this brings me to a very important area which I don't want to miss on. There are so many other sector because your forum is your platforms, the magazines is connected with all kind of people and catering to every aspect of education. There are so many ancillaries to education, the publishing houses, the uniform walas, the publishers,
Furniture.
your coaching centers, tutorials, private tuitions. Everyone is affected at the moment. So, what is your perspective on that front?
See, I'll tell you I'll include as a product and service players, which were dependent on the functioning of the school. At the same time, supplemental help, which was tutorials, or you can say after school programs, which could be right from your sports activities, language learning, so many of the other things. Right. So, see, I'll tell you, as such, in totality, there will be a delay, but there won't be denial. So there would be delays in functionality will come through while the environment settles. But the important point to note over here is that while all the companies, in fact, all the services that are involved, including tutorial, they have also started some or the other innovations by getting things online. So
Right.
the way the school has performed online, the competitive level, which typically that's the reason tutorials or this IIT prep tutorials or probably a lot of other competitive exams that the student used to prepare. To my knowledge, more or less before this COVID time, also there were a lot of resources that these people used to give it online. So
Right.
they are continuing their pace, but they are also facing equal challenge when it comes to sustainability when their cash flows are going to get hit. If
Right.
tomorrow a parent is going to think twice, saying, hey, look, there is a trouble at my end and I cannot pay, I think so. Again, my appeal would be maybe as a school, or maybe a tutorial, or may, for that matter, an art or a dance class is there. Kindly be accommodative. It's because the beautiful part of this segment in education is you have 12 months to cover. Okay,
Right.
so
Right.
that's important. 1 2 months, and more or less we are at this period which more or less entire nation, a month plus or minus, was anyways going for summer holidays, correct?
Right.
So this is where just be patient. These all sectors which were anyways enabling a student's life by way of performance or by way of better understanding, there is a little bit of a delay that one has to expect. People have taken chances to connect online, but there won't be any situation where you will be completely denied.
Absolutely, and I think there may be a delay, but there will be no denial. Things are going to get back to normalcy, and maybe this academic session is going to be challenging for not just for us, not just for educators, but whole of the nation and whole of the world. But I'm sure thereafter things are only going to catch up and move faster than before, because technology. Acclimatization which is taking place at the moment is going to help us catch up with the losses faster than what we would have imagined before.
Sure.
And Bhavinji, it's been really very, very encouraging to hear your perspectives on these various diverse areas. And I think even today's show of ours is a reflection of what life is all about. बीच में मुश्किलें आती हैं, कभी कभी लॉकडाउन भी हो जाता है, हम बाहर भी हो जाते हैं, और दोबारा से we reconnect and we rebuild it up. And I think I couldn't have had a better guest than you today, helping me out even in these glitches and maintaining your patience and during this the glitches that we had today. So thank you so much, Bhavinji. And I think the way you have taken up issues, I would like to invite you one more time on our forum so that our guests can benefit with your thought process. And we are planning to have, after a few episodes, have a panel. And I think I would really like to invite you to be a panelist when we get a few resources coming together on the platform. Thank you so much, Bhavinji, for being on Ed Talks with Amitabh. Friends, थैंक यू सो मच फॉर वॉचिंग अस. आज के हमारे इस शो में थोड़ा सा टेक्निकल ग्लिच आया था, उसके लिए हम माफी चाहते हैं. लेकिन हमने पहले शुरू किया था एपिसोड और उसके बाद हमें डिस्कनेक्ट करना पड़ा था टू रिकनेक्ट. एंड सो प्लीज डू वॉच बोथ द सेगमेंट्स. वी फ्रॉम School Times promise you we are going to put these two recordings together and once again post the whole thing as a flow for your benefit so that you don't miss any segment. So keep watching Ed Talks with Amitabh. We are going to come up with exciting thoughts. And Bhavinji, thank you so much. You lived up to my expectation and reputation of being candid, fearless, and someone who really believes in the cause of education.
No, thank you very much, Amitabh ji. Finally, I just want to say that Corona harega, but Indian education and educators jitega. So that's where I want to add, not only India jitega, but all educators are going to win, and we will be there together for them to make this victory happen. So thank you very much for having me on your show, and all the best for all your shows in future.
Thank you so much. Education जीतेगा, India जीतेगा, और एजुकेशन की वजह से आने वाले वक्त में इंडिया और ज्यादा जीतेगा.
और ज्यादा जीतेगा. Thank you very much.
Having said that, thank you so much. Signing out from the School Time studio. Keep watching Ed Talks with Amitabh.
Thank you.